Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. My name is Ben. Today is Thursday, June 2nd. My daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Zoe.
Oh, it's
11:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually come to you 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 75 degrees here in the BitBoy Crypto studio. We will be having multiple special guests on today. We have Gareth Soloway should be on this morning. Waiting for him to jump on here, I think. As soon as he jumps on, we'll throw him on. We're going to do the TA probably a little early today. And then we have Eleanor Terrett coming on our usual XRP section at about 12:30. She's a Fox Business reporter who's been covering the SEC case with Ripple Labs. Very interested to get her background, how she got involved in this, and then what her general thoughts are. I think she's got a lot of thoughts on the SEC, which is quite interesting. Guys, the price of Bitcoin today coming in around $30,000 is flirting with the $30,000 line today. And a lot of people, are feeling very bullish, like price was going up. And then all of a sudden we dumped back down to about $29,000 last night. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Allison. Thank you. Allison, she loves the camera. Loves the camera, ladies and gentlemen. Allison, give her a hand. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Hey. So, is Gareth on?
Not that I can see right now.
Okay. Well,
Let me hold on.
Not jumped on yet.
Nope.
I don't even have VMix pulled up on my side. I'm sure to go ahead and have mine pulled up, I guess. Would be good. He was on a bit of a time crunch today, so I thought he was going to come and jump on. But we will see what happens with that. Maybe he doesn't show up. Maybe we'll have to bring Frank on. That would be awful. Is Frank here today?
I believe he is.
Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and get the show started, and then we'll go from there. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, 847.1K, and we're giving away 10 passes, 5 sets of passes, and a lifetime membership to the BitLab Academy. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, and you guys can join that contest. Golly, hardly anybody entering this contest, which, you know what? I think it's probably good, because the fact is we don't want thousands of people entering this contest because thousands of people can't go to this. You have to be able to go and use the ticket to make this worth it. So I'm glad people aren't just going and signing up randomly, even though they're not, going to go. So that's pretty good. So if you sign up, you have a good chance to win, which is pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and check out the markets today. Coming in at $1.246 trillion. I'm going to check my Twitter messages real quick and see if his people messaged me. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, I don't see anybody. $1.246 trillion, volume 94 billion. Bitcoin dominance, I think, is down a shade from yesterday, 46.2%. But look at that ETH dominance, dropping like a rock. Wow, it went from 18% to 17.7%, and it looks like we are shaping up to see Bitcoin dominance rise quite a bit and gain value against Ethereum, and Ethereum lose value against Bitcoin. Benjamin Cowan said that. He said that we were probably going to see, obviously I agreed with him. We were going to see Bitcoin dominance go up. I did not expect this Ethereum to bleed against Bitcoin like this with a merge coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is a little surprising?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make a very strong case. A lot of people were with the merge coming up that Ethereum should, price that in a little bit. And you'd think, you expect most alts to bleed against Bitcoin. And Ethereum maybe traditionally has in the past, but I think looking at the merge, you can make a strong case for it being a little bit different this time. But I think that is a reminder of many times in crypto where you look and say, oh, this time it's different. And we see time and time again, history is our strongest indicator. And it looks like we do have Gareth now.
Oh, Gareth is on. Well, let's bring him on. Let's ask Gareth what he thinks going on here.
Gareth, can you hear us?
Gareth. I hear myself in the speaker, my headset, really loud.
Hey.
What's up, Gareth?
What's going
Oh. And
Can we hear you now?
Yep, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
I can.
Awesome.
And TJ, we need to get this thing fixed with the echo in my headset. I
Sure.
can get through today, but
Mhm.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gareth, what you got for us today?
I just got some good old fashioned charts.
Famous
You
for
know
his
me.
charts. Oh yeah.
All right. So let's just quickly talk a little bit about Bitcoin here. A little disappointed in Bitcoin. I'm sure you are as well, right? So I think we have to just recognize that a couple days ago we had this big move up. It was awesome. We closed above this little range right here. You had a pause day, and then yesterday kind of broke the bulls' hearts, right? We came right back inside of this range. Now, I think it's important to recognize that as of now, nothing's changed other than you're just stuck back in this range, right? And you're still inside of this larger channel to the downside where you can see, notice the pivot point right here, here, and here. That's still holding. So, bottom line is that we're back in a holding pattern. I think all eyes continue to be on what the Fed is going to do in 2 weeks with interest rates, which they're going to raise 50 basis points. Is it going to create more risk off environment, which obviously could potentially push Bitcoin and stocks in general down? I think that's an issue as well. But right now the markets are viewing it like, this is a chatter pattern, a sideways chop pattern where we're just waiting to see what the next official move is. So for me, I have a small position long as a swing trade on Bitcoin right now, just very small, only 12% of my portfolio in total. And I'm just a wait and see attitude. I'm hoping for the move up. I think we might be still due for one more push up before we get a new leg down. I know you're still looking on the bearish side overall for the rest of the year as well. I am as well. I just think, again, as a swing trader, there's opportunities to buy support, sell resistance.
Yeah, I think it's definitely good to do to try to swing trade. I can't even listen to myself.
I know. It's tough.
I gotta pull it out. This got to be fixed. I can't really operate like this. But I think that the thing is, what I'm looking for when I'm shorting is trying to find spots where it pumps and to go back down, and obviously when you're longing, it's just not a good time to long right now unless you really have solid reason to believe that it's going to be rising. What is your target when you say you think we've got one rally left? Like, what is your target for kind of a price point people should be looking for?
Yeah, so that's an amazingly good question, right? Because the general consensus with the retail crowd is like, oh, it's going to go to all-time highs, which is not realistic, right? You have to be realistic, especially in a bear market. Bear markets can have amazing rallies, but they fade very quickly and they get smoked and make new lows. So right now, I mean, really, there's a couple levels I'm watching, and this is the conservative one. So the conservative is it only gets back to this pivot low here, which was that previous. Remember when we had that initial drop from 69,000, it went to 33. So that is what we came close to. We didn't even touch it yet. That would be my conservative view. My mid level would be just 34,500 here. And then if we're really lucky, like if we can get a decent move up, let's say it's a risk on environment, the Fed all of a sudden, maybe shows a little bit of leniency. Maybe inflation numbers we're going to get next week are not going to be as bad. Maybe people start thinking, hey, listen, there's a possibility. For my max upside at this stage, I'm really looking at like 37, 38,000. So again, it's not a robustly big move up for a swing trader who's in around 30. That's a decent 20% move. I'm down for that. That's the type of moves I like. But I certainly am going to be nimble. If we break, basically for me, and right, every smart investor and trader, if you're a swing trader investor, you need to know your exit strategy if it doesn't work out. So if we don't get a bounce here up, my exit is any confirmation below this downsloping trend line. So this, notice here, we pierced it. They saved it.
We can't see it right now,
Yep.
Gareth.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yep.
Sorry. Let me throw that up. Apologize. So basically, these are my resistance levels here. Again, 33,000, 34.5, and then the max upside I think is around this level here. And you can see the pivot is that 33,000. That's coming from the big move down low. And then here's a little pivot low. And then this area here is a lot of resistance right in this range, right? That's where we really started to cascade to the downside. And then, like I said, on the opposite side, what you're going to look for is if the market really starts to deteriorate, and I am long right now, even though it's a small position, I have to know my exit strategy. Any sort of confirmation below this white trend line, that would be where I would say, okay, now it's going to 20. If it breaks here and confirms here, that's your next stop is 20,000. If it breaks 20, you're potentially talking about 12 as a low pivot. So again, notice how here you pierce the white trend line and it recovered. Here you briefly pierced it, recovered, touched it right here. So it's very clear that this is your line in the sand, that as long as it holds that, there's a small chance of a bounce here, a little bit of upside. If it confirms below there, bye-bye, wave goodbye as it kind of falls back down.
Yeah. Now, is it a little worrisome that it seems like while we're all expecting a little bit of a pump here, like a relief rally, the Bitcoin can't even get enough momentum to get a relief rally? Is that a problem, you think? Like,
Yeah.
should we maybe not expect a rally?
Yeah, so it certainly is worrisome, right? And for me, it's the price action is paramount. It's everything, right? And when you saw the move on, I think it was Sunday. Sunday we had this beautiful top or move up. To see a reversal candle like that back down is very, very bearish, right? Let me throw that chart up again so we can see. So this green candle was very good. It got above that range. I was even positive there. I was like, all right, here we go. Here we go. I'm long. I'm in the money. Let's see it get up to 33. I'll take off maybe a quarter of my position or a third of my position. Then we'll see if it goes up and up and up. And then to see that, it kind of did take a lot of wind out of my sails myself. Now it is getting a bounce today. Technology, the stock market's getting a bounce. But I agree with you. I mean, the fact that it hasn't been able to get a bounce here, a more significant bounce, is worrisome. But again, everything for me comes down to don't think as much versus just let the charts tell me, right? So, I look at it and I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. It didn't do this. But then bottom line is it's still holding this line and I have to respect that line until it's broken.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it.
You're so bearish, buddy. I mean,
am.
And I understand why. I
Yeah.
totally understand why. You have so many negatives out there. The crypto space has to get a washout, right? I think we both agree that there's so much junk in the system. It's like a cancer that has to be removed in a weird way with all the junk so that the best can survive. So I'm with you in that. I just think that there's a small chance of a bounce before then. But again, the charts will tell me if we break that white trend line, then this is, bye-bye to 20,000.
Yeah, and people don't like the side of things. They don't like
Yeah.
the bearish outlook. But the fact is, this is what we see every 4 years in crypto. We don't have this kind of pattern or cycle in the stock market. But when it comes to crypto, it's predictable, and it's always been predictable. And it always goes lower than people expect it to go. So I definitely think that this is something to consider, that maybe we don't get a relief rally. So what kind of time frame are you looking at to say, maybe the bearish action will subside?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think at best case, 12 to 18 months from the top, right? So November. And if you look at past cycles, and I know you're talking about the 4-year cycle, so you have to look and say, how long did it take for us to bottom out? It was about 12 months from the peaks. And then you had about 6 months at minimum of chop sideways to slightly up before you started to really get that next leg up. So I think that's your best case. The worrying case, and this is like the case that I as a crypto believer, I don't even want to think about. But it's like if you look at the .com collapse, and it took the NASDAQ, what was it, like 10 years plus to take out the previous high. I don't think that'll happen because I think you have scenarios where, you have a asset that has 21 million run in Bitcoin. That's the maximum. You have this rotation where you're going to see more and more inflation. So there's a lot of different things working, but that would be like the craziest scenario of that amount of time. I'm going with 12 to 18 months before we bottom out.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking at after the midterms,
Yeah.
last week of November. That's kind of what we're targeting. That's what we've seen in the last 2 cycles. We've seen the bottom come right after the midterms. One last kind of capitulation. So, maybe we'll see it this time. Maybe we won't. And I think really what people have to pay attention to is that when it comes to what we're looking at for price action for the bottom, okay, if we're looking at the 85% drawdown, which puts it at 10,300, which is pretty close to that 12,000 that you mentioned, or, maybe we don't go below previous all-time high of 20,000. I think what happens here, whether we get the relief rally or not, I think that's important, because if we don't get a relief rally, man, it puts that 10,300 right in the crosshairs. We've got to go up and get some positive action to prevent us, I believe, from the total, downswing. And I think it's really important to understand that we're just one black swan event away from getting absolutely, abysmal Bitcoin prices.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I think investors, you have to just, if there's one thing you want investors to realize in this is that never buy the hype at all-time highs, and you have to just be aware of that more and more. And there's so many new investors in crypto because crypto is such a new asset. But for those of us like myself who went through the 1999 2000 dot-com collapse, and then 2007 and 8 and 9 and the financial collapse, I mean, I've been through this rodeo before, and so I kind of have that mentality. And we all have to gain that educational aspect. Yes, sometimes lessons stink to be learned and it costs you a lot of money. It certainly cost me a lot back then, but I'm glad to say I learned this time around and I was safe, and I did not chase at those highs.
Yeah. Nothing is more valuable than experience and perspective. And that's what a lot of people in the crypto market don't have right now, because most people came in, obviously last year, 70% of all people in crypto. So we'll have to see what happens. But Gareth, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll catch you next time. Everybody,
thank you so
check out
much,
his channel
Ben.
in the chat.
Yeah,
Right.
guys, we did pin his channel in the chat as well as the description. Go check him out, as well as smash the likes if you like it when we bring great guests on. Gareth, like he was saying there at the end, a lot of perspective trading, multiple different markets, both stock and tech. So if you guys like that perspective, smash the likes for us so we can get it to more people.
Hey, is BJ here?
I'm not sure.
That's got to be fixed before she comes on. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
Operate at all.
It's brutal. I
Yeah.
understand. It's hard to even get words out of your mouth.
It needs to be fixed in the next 45 minutes. I mean, before Eleanor comes on, because I can't. If you hear my voice, it sounds weird because I'm hearing myself and it's slowing down what I'm saying. I can't even talk.
I know. So, it's brutal.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm gonna have to.
Well, call BJ. Like,
yeah,
I'll take care of this. You call BJ. We gotta get taken care of.
Yeah, it's something on that computer is what I was gonna say.
Okay. I mean, is it something to do with the sound settings?
I think so. I'm not sure because it wasn't happening until last week, right?
Yeah, it just started like the last interview. So it's got input. This?
You shouldn't be hearing anything from yourself going into that, but that might have been what he changed to get it to where we could hear that computer through here. So
yeah, well, we need to call him and find out what that is so I can fix it on this end, because I can't do another interview like that. Okay. All right. So let's go and get started here, guys. Back to the crypto markets. Just check this out. It is Bitcoin coming in $30,300. Heard from Gareth on his opinions on what's going on. I aligned very closely with him on that. Ethereum coming in at 1821. Binance Coin at 304. Cardano at 60 cents. XRP at 40 cents. Solana. And, we were having some conversations about Solana. I think I'm done with Solana. I think I am ready to I think I'm ready to move on and sell my Solana. But are you opposed to that?
I not opposed to it. I was having the same thoughts last night, trying to figure out how I feel about it. Like, the number one draw is the fact that it's VC money behind, big whales behind it that we think won't let it fail, basically. And it's like, that's not the best reason to be buying something. And, it doesn't feel good for sure. Like, oh, hey, these big money guys will prop it up so they won't let it fail and maybe we can make some money. Yet their blockchain is failing over and over and over and over again. So it's just, I don't know. Before I felt like, hey, this will probably survive the bear market and, be a decent pumper next bull market. Right now, the fact that they're a meme that, I think the meme I saw is like Solana goes down on you more than your girlfriend kind of thing. It's like, it's a joke. Nobody expects it to run. Steppen, I know they're on it. They can't stand it because they're trying to run a game, and every so often it crashes. You can't do any of the transactions. So they just go dark for hours. I know we covered last week, their clock was behind by 30 minutes. And if they've got that much money behind it, it should operate better.
Yeah.
But
Crypto Steve-O is saying Ethereum had these same issues several years ago. They've never had their blockchain paused like this. They had their issue where they split Ethereum Classic, but Ethereum doesn't go down.
Well, and
that's why nothing will touch it.
Well, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like, crypto projects, especially early, they have issues. Like, if they crashed that one time early in the year or last year, whenever it was, and never crashed again, it wouldn't be a major issue. But the fact that they continue to go down like this is major issue. I mean, it's the whole thing.
How do you have confidence in this going forward?
Exactly.
I don't think you can. I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, if your only play is, I think it's going to pump because they got money behind it, then sure. But that's eventually going to run out. You know, eventually,
Yeah.
this will become, you know, more than just a meme itself. You know, it'll become a dead project eventually. Because look, if your blockchain is getting paused, just like Steppen is going through right now, and I can tell you, I know this. I spoke with someone who's very involved with that ecosystem, and they are begging to get off of it. If that's the experience of the people building on top of Solana, who's going to want to continue to build on it? And when nobody wants to build on it, then you'd have a dead chain. So, you know, I certainly, and people are saying it's still on the test net. I don't know if that's true or not. I've seen people say that before. I don't think Solana's on a test net, but whatever it's on, this is not good. If this is the test, it's not passing.
Yeah.
So they've got to have a major overhaul of what they're doing there to be taken seriously again, I believe. So I am off the Solana train. I will tell you that much. I can't speak about it seriously. All right, moving on. Bitcoin, Ethereum fall 5% as market slumps into correction territory. Prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum dropped by about 5% each, back to under $30,000. It's hovering right around that same spot right now. It plunged to an intraday low of 29.5. Following the pattern, the price of Ethereum has seen its price fall 5.65% over the last 24 hours, and I just don't think this bodes very well for what we're going to see in the near term for Bitcoin and Ethereum. If we're getting these price drops right now, there's no momentum forward being built. Man, it really does point to a much lower price Bitcoin, because for Bitcoin to get a new bottom and that bottom be the last bottom, and let's say it's around 22,000 or 24,500, somewhere around that level, Bitcoin has to be able to show momentum to get back above 30. If it can't do that and it keeps hovering, then we're going to see the same thing it did when it was at 50,000. All of a sudden, it was at 49. It was at 48. Then we were happy with 47. Then we were happy with 46. And eventually got to where it just plunged. It feels very similar right now, what we're seeing with the $30,000 range. We're here at 30. 31, we're happy with now. You know, now we're happy with 30. And before you know it, you're happy with 29. You're happy with 28. And then before you know it, the bottom drops out, goes down to $22,000. Guys, I've said I don't see it going below 20. I've told you the numbers say that it will. The history shows that it will. But I don't feel like it's going to. But the longer it stays at this price point, the more I start to feel like, man, below $20,000 is certainly in play.
Yeah.
I mean, right now to say below $20,000 is not in play just because it's never gone below a previous 4-year cycle all-time high. That's not that strong of an argument, in my opinion. The numbers and the charts and the prices and the momentum and the sentiment and the macroeconomic factors, the world events, they are indicating right now that there can be a much lower price Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I think that conversation you and Gareth were having about the lack of momentum with that relief rally that almost everybody was counting on definitely is hanging in everybody's heads, because like if we had rallied say to a 38 or something close to 40 and then got another rate hike that then pushes us back down to 30, we're kind of on par for kind of ranging in that section. But if we're at 30 and get another rate hike, then we're talking probably 24s, much sooner than we were thinking. Just like we got to 28 and 25 a lot faster than we were thinking with the Terra crash. It's interesting. Like the bull market moved slower and would let less momentum than we were expecting, and the bear market's moving faster and with more momentum.
I mean, I said that there was certainly a strong chance it's the worst bear market ever, because we're going to see Bitcoin going down as the dollar is getting more valuable and as inflation is edging away. Total opposite of what we saw when things were really heating up for the bull market. But I will say this, if you think about how that worked out for the bull market, it did work out to where it went super fast in the beginning and then it stalled. Maybe that's what we'll see. Maybe we'll see it drop tremendously here in the beginning, and we'll see it stall, then have one last capitulation. I believe no matter what, we are getting capitulation after the midterms. It just depends on how low we're going.
I agree.
And for us to not breach $20,000, we need Bitcoin to slowly inch up towards 38. I certainly don't think we need a relief rally to put Bitcoin to $38,000 in the next month. I think we need that to last several months. months.
Yeah.
We need like 2 or 3 months. That's why I'm not super worried right now, but I am worried because I'm okay with it slowly inching up, but at some point it's got to start inching up.
Yeah.
And what's going on with the weekly here? The weekly, did we finally have a green candle last week on the weekly or no?
I don't think so.
Let me get off these Heikenauer.
I think they were hoping to get it this week.
Let's see. What? Oh, here's one. Yeah, we're hoping for one this week. So right now, if you're looking at the weekly, here, okay. As of this moment, we need to stay above 29.4 in order to get our first green weekly candle since March, before the Bitcoin conference.
I think it was
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've now broken a record for 9 weekly candles in a row. So basically, to get a green candle, to get this last one to close green, it's got to stay above 29.5. I got to tell you, I'm not that confident that's going to happen. I mean, I think there's definitely potential for us to see another downward swing and to be at 29,000 and get another red candle. At some point, you got to think it's going to end. But this shows the power of no momentum for Bitcoin right now. No positive momentum. Everything is bearish momentum. Maybe we do, swing and get, something positive going. This has been the longest Bitcoin has ever gone without any positive momentum. So, I don't think this is the bottom. Cody Lewis says, and this is a great point, we've always had an 85% drop, but never went below previous all-time high. Which one is not going to be true? And I personally believe that, we are not going to get the 85% drop. But we could still go below the previous all-time high. I mean, both of those things could end up being not true. Both of them can't end up being true, though. So I think we're going to see something slightly different because of the suppressed bull run, because we didn't get the numbers we thought we were going to get to. I don't think we're going to see the numbers on the bottom. But the history says that we're on track for it. So that's where things are a little sketchy right now. So, all right, moving on to the news. Europe's Russian oil ban could mean a new world order for energy. European Union's embargo on most Russian oil imports could deliver a fresh jolt to the world economy, propelling a realignment of global energy trading that leaves Russia economically weaker, gives China and India bargaining power, and enriches producers like Saudi Arabia. Ultimately, Western leaders are aiming to weaken President Putin's ability to wreak havoc in Ukraine and elsewhere by denying him billions of dollars in energy sales. I need an energy sale right now. There are many geopolitical repercussions, said somebody from Harvard. The ban will draw the United States more deeply into the global energy economy and will strengthen energy ties between Russia and China. Exactly what we want, right?
I was going to say.
Europeans also decided to phase in the restrictions on ensuring Russian oil shipments because of the importance of the shipping industry to Greece and Cyprus. Europe is likely to remain reliant on Russian natural gas for some time, possibly years. That could preserve some of Putin's leverage, especially if gas demand spikes during a cold winter. I mean, what about the fact that Europe is still willing to work with Russia on energy? What does that say, bro?
It says they don't have a choice. They can't produce their own.
I already had a bang. I only drink one energy drink a day now.
That's good. I still
The whole audience just yawned. Guys, what am I supposed to do? How prevent a yawn? Come on, guys. A yawn is unprofessional. Oh, you came to the wrong place then. You haven't figured that out yet.
Welcome to YouTube.
Welcome to YouTube.
Where unprofessional thrives.
Buying diesel from India will raise costs in Europe. So very, very sketchy stuff going on with the energy. And these gas prices are out of control. They've reintroduced the gas rationing. Both the last 2 times I've gotten gas in the truck. One time it stopped at $80. Another time it stopped at $100. So the gas rationing is definitely back. I guess they're trying to save it for multiple customers, which is very scary. That, we're at a place where I feel like we need to do that with the gas prices so high. Speaking of gas prices, 7 U.S. states top $5 a gallon as inflation bites. Brace yourself for more pain at the pump this summer. The national average for a gallon of gas, it's at $4.67 regular, while diesel gas prices are $5.54 per gallon, down from the record high of $5.58. Global oil prices also continue to tick upwards. Brent crude, the international benchmark, well, okay, never mind. Surpassed, I won't even say anything about it. Surpassed $120 a barrel, reaching a 2-month high. So don't expect gas prices to be going down anytime soon. I really just wonder, like I was thinking about this yesterday, and, I mean, there's no way to know the answer to this. But if the presidential election went the other way and the other guy was in charge right now, would we be seeing all this? And I don't know the answer to the question. All I'm saying is I don't know if we see this Russia-Ukraine thing going on right now, if that were the case. So, blame whoever you want to blame for all this. I just don't know if things would be this way right now if it were the other way. So I think you can certainly put some blame, as I said yesterday, you put some blame at the people at the top. People at the top always get blamed. So, and if the election had gone the other way and we were seeing the same thing, then we'd be asking the same question. Because, the leadership gets blamed for everything. We talked about it yesterday, like I said. But one thing's for sure, the gas prices are outrageous. And what we see is we'll see a crisis when this thing started between Russia and Ukraine and the gas prices inch up. It always raises the new normal. What is the new normal for gas prices? They never return. Do you guys remember when I think it was one of those hurricanes? I can't remember which one it was, but it was destroyed the gas gas tankers near New Orleans. What was that? Do you remember
Katrina?
that hurricane? It wasn't Katrina, I don't think. And it shot gas prices up to like $3. They had been like under $1, like just a year before that. They never returned to like below $2 again. Maybe briefly here and there, but $2 then became like the new normal. Are we looking at $4 becoming the new normal for gas after this? I believe that we are.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that we are.
I think we are.
Because they're going to take advantage of the fact that you're already used to this now. You're used to paying $6 now. So now that was it Katrina? Was it Katrina that Hurricane Rita? Whatever it was that knocked out, destroyed gas tankers, and it was like a gas shortage. I remember having to go to the gas pump and like line up to get gas. This would have been back like, maybe it was Katrina. I think it was Katrina, actually, now I'm thinking about it. It was Katrina. So anyways, the point is, it never returned to those lows again. And right now, the gas companies and the oil companies are making more money. And so why would they return back to a new normal? I don't think we'll see $4, gas go below $4 again, probably. I think this is for the future.
I think this is definitely part of they're controlling the supply. They're creating the shortage to have the crisis that then they can come save you, basically. Yeah. I think this is going to continue for a long time, and they'll be able to use it like, oh, the energy is so scarce. We all need to be doing things that are better for the environment. We have an energy crisis, and they will use that to propagate a lot of stuff.
That's how it happens. That's how it happens. Also, people complain about the thumbnail today. Doesn't make any sense. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. There's no such thing as Bitcoin all-time low.
Yeah.
I don't make the thumbnail. Don't blame me.
I changed the title.
Okay. All right. Jamie Dimon says JP Morgan is bracing itself for an economic hurricane. Man, I tell you, these segues have just been built in perfectly today.
Yeah.
Jamie Dimon warned investors to prepare for an economic hurricane as the economy struggles against an unprecedented combination of challenges, including tightening monetary policy and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, I heard that people were listening to what he said and using that to say that what Jamie Dimon said is the reason why Bitcoin went down. But that was pretty interesting. Wow. Giving this guy way too much credit, I believe. The hurricane is right out there down the road coming our way. We don't know if it's a minor one or Superstorm Sandy. You better brace yourself. Dimon said at JP Morgan's Investor Day in May that there were storm clouds looming over the U.S. economy. But he said he's since updated that forecast given the challenges faced by the Federal Reserve as it attempts to rein in inflation. Right now, it's kind of sunny. Things are doing fine. Everyone thinks the Fed can handle it. Who thinks the Fed can handle it? Who are these people?
Nobody.
Who thinks that? Who thinks the Fed is doing a good job? Like, I can't. I don't want to go on another rant like I did yesterday, but it just pisses me off.
Yeah. And he mentioned Superstorm Sandy.
Yeah.
I think, that was in New Jersey, but very similar gas
that was
prices.
New York. Yeah.
went from $1 to $3.50 and never returned again.
Yeah. Superstorm Sandy wasn't even a hurricane, was it not? I
Was
remember seeing a lot of water. In New
It
York.
was a combination
Like
of
flooding, I think.
wind and snow, and that's why it was a superstorm.
Was it snow?
It's all sorts of stuff.
Golly.
It was like stuff coming off the coast, stuff coming from inland, and it was all coming together. And
All right, so a lot of bad stuff with the economy.
Yeah.
Where's the positive? Where's the silver one? And this is what really bothers me when I think about the economy at large right now. You got all these people estimating a 12 to 18 month recession, and that would mean right now we would probably be about 3 to 4 months in. Okay, so that means we're looking at still over a year of this. Like, how bad is this going to get if we're just here now and it's just beginning? That's the really worrisome part to me. To think about, and when you are thinking about Bitcoin and how low Bitcoin can go, you have to factor in the larger economic picture right now. For Bitcoin to truly find a bottom and start moving up momentum-wise, then you feel like the regular economy has got to at least come close to finding a bottom. And I don't know if it's close. I don't think it's close. The one thing is, you usually don't see the stock market fall, in the same way that we see crypto fall. So maybe it won't be as dramatic, but I just don't see the silver lining that can kind of move us out of this yet. To where we can even start thinking in a positive manner. And that makes me think that things still have a lot more downside in every market to go. New York Fed president urges colleagues to prepare for coming digital payment transformation. Get ready for a fundamental change in money and payments. John Williams, president and CEO of Federal Reserve Bank of New York, told central bank officials, academics, and financial industry leaders from around the world on Wednesday. Williams did not elaborate on the possible future impact of digital currency. Rather, he contextualized the potential changes by pointing out the effects of the introduction of overnight reverse repurchase agreements in 2014. As central bankers, it's critical we remain focused on carrying out our responsibilities while keeping pace with the world around us. How about that? And then we also have this story here. 11% of U.S. insurers invest or are interested in investing in crypto. Well, this is quite interesting.
this is.
Of the 328 CFOs and CIOs representing around half of the global insurance industry, 6% responded their firm was either already invested or considering an investment into crypto. Now, this is interesting because we are having a lot of conversations with people in the insurance industry that are wanting to get into crypto. So I can tell you for sure, this is very accurate. We've talked about for years how the future of NFTs, the future of blockchain, the future of decentralization. What fits that better than the insurance and the medical fields, right? In the real estate world, it's a lot of documents, a lot of records. Things can go on blockchain. It can be transparent. You can use NFTs to allow people to get access to different areas of your medical records. And insurance has made so much sense for so many reasons to move it onto blockchain, but we haven't really seen anybody do it yet. Well, I'll tell you why that is. Very hard to do. It's very hard to do, and it's very hard to figure out that the linchpin idea to really tie it all in together. But once someone figures it out, we're trying to figure it out ourselves right now. Once someone figures this out and creates this model, you're going to see all insurance jumping on board with this. It's going to happen very quickly, I believe. So just know this is something that is happening. It is active. This has always been a great use case for blockchain. I think a lot of insurance companies are seeing this. United States-based insurers are the most interested in crypto investment, according to Goldman Sachs survey. 328 chief financial and chief investment officers regarding their firm's asset allocations and portfolios. We surveyed for the first time on crypto, which I thought would get no respondents, but I was surprised. A good 6% of the industry respondents indicated they're either investing in crypto or considering investing. The report found cryptocurrencies were in 5th place for the asset class insurers, expected to deliver the highest yield returns over the next 12 months, with 6% ranking it as their first choice, beating U.S. and European equities. Yeah, but it's a scam, guys. All crypto is a scam. Remember that. It's a giant Ponzi. Everything's a giant Ponzi. Insurance isn't a Ponzi. Certainly not. Certainly not. Oh my gosh. Just the archaic traditional world that we live in. Just the confusion from the average person, on what is real and what is not real is really sad. Only 1% of the total surveyed firms said they thought they would increase their crypto position over the next 12 months. Well, that shows they're dumb. This is the time to be increasing your position. 7% said they would maintain their current position. Not bad. 92% said they would not invest in crypto over the next year. So there you go. You got a lot of people in the insurance world looking to, a lot of people in the insurance world looking to get involved in crypto. I try to drink water to prevent myself from yawning and being unprofessional again. Got up a little earlier than normal today. Leg day this morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, leg day this morning. Yeah. Bitcoin like a BitBoy yawn.
That's how it feels.
This is how it feels today.
Yeah.
This is how it feels. Why this organization wants to make crypto influencers accountable for financial advice. Now, we are on record on this channel since the beginning of this channel, begging regulators to give us guidance and clarity on what our responsibility is and is not to our audience. If you're in the stock world, you have those rules. You have those regulations. If you're in the crypto industry, what they like to do is they like to go after people for breaking laws and rules that were never made in the first place. And that is why we continue to harp on the SEC and the CFTC. They need to give clarity on regulation for crypto influencers. Why do we not have this yet? They want to point fingers, they want to blame, they want to say these people do this person does this, but yet they provide nothing. So finally, we have the Financial Planning Standards Boards here saying that they believe there needs to be regulation in this industry. Well, duh. It's taken you how many years to figure this out? It's a joke, honestly. And the funny thing here is okay, so I'm sitting here expecting, I'm reading this article and I'm like, this is good. Like, thank God we've been asking for this. And I'm like, man, I cannot wait to see what they're going to say here. Like, what are their recommendations? All the recommendations are about how they can continue to be gatekeepers and keep people from investing in crypto.
Oh, okay.
That's what this is about. Yeah.
There's no actual policy or
No.
clarity.
Listen to this. Okay, so it says they've issued a statement on crypto influencers, digital assets, retail trading with these assets. The organization believes that the pandemic contributed to retail market conduct issues. Wow. Don't think, what does the pandemic have to do with that? I don't understand. During this time, people were incentivized to seek assets capable of generating profits. Oh, I know why. Because people were taking their government loans, their government bribes, and they were investing it in a crypto, and they were making money with it, and they don't want that. During this time, people were incentivized to seek assets capable of generating profits, a second revenue stream, or yield in a high inflationary macroeconomic environment.
Wow.
Basically, people were looking to make money, and that's bad.
People were desperate because we were printing trillions of dollars and they're trying to survive. Let's stop them.
Yeah, sounds fun. Let's see here. Crypto benefit from this trend. The DeFi sector in 2020 had massive growth.
Market.
The stock market didn't grow at that time, did it?
No.
Wait,
all-time highs?
Oh, it did. That's right. Huh. In addition to digital assets, crypto influencers and people use social media to promote a product, platform, token, and a lot of popularity. The FPSB believes people are providing financial advice without the proper certification. So here we go. They want to gatekeep who can talk about crypto. But here's the thing. What is the crypto test that gives you the ability to be able to provide financial advice on crypto? Because if you're counting on your regular financial advisor to be able to give you advice on crypto,
forget about it.
They're not allowed to do it.
Yep.
So no one can tell you about crypto. That's what they want. Now, here's the other thing about this that's also interesting. I know several financial advisors. I am not one myself, to be clear. I really enjoy not being a financial advisor. Yeah. There is article after article stating that when financial advisors have looked into crypto, they have made investments themselves while advising the people they advise not to buy crypto. Why? Because the government pressures them to do that. Even though they believe in it themselves, they believe it's great financial advice themselves. What advice would you believe in more than the advice you take yourself? But yet, they're not allowed to tell other people to. This gets way better, though. Influencers could or should be held accountable Financial frauds and scams are certainly not new, but the rapid emergence and evolution of crypto assets and other complex digital assets means the level of risk and exposure for retail investors is becoming heightened. And certainly we are against fraud on this channel 100%. DeGori claims the fast-changing investment environment and the emergence of crypto influencers and digital assets have left regulation struggling to keep up. You never even tried. You haven't tried. You haven't tried. Instead, you want to waste all of your time and resources on the stupid Ripple case that you know you're going to lose and you look like a bunch of idiots. Meanwhile, you won't come up with the common sense regulation that people need to get by in the space, myself included. This translates into alleged harmful consequences for retail investors, i.e. you might have lost money. Nobody's lost money on the stock market this year, certainly, right? Nobody's losing money on the stock market. Nobody lost money on Netflix. Nobody lost money on Snapchat. Nobody lost money on Peloton. This is my favorite part. The FPSB even went as far as to recommend regulators implement a safe breaker, a mechanism that would prevent people from purchasing these assets for a certain time, and to ask retail investors to take a financial knowledge test. Wow. This would determine the person's capacity to trade with complex financial products, such as digital assets. They want you to take a test to trade crypto.
But they don't want to teach you anything about money in school.
But yet, I guarantee you, if I sat down with any of these people on this financial planning board, I would smoke them in crypto knowledge. But they're going to try to tell me who should and should not invest in crypto. Mm-hmm. Gatekeepers. And I will tell you this. We're working on something here at BitBoy Crypto. We actually have a meeting this Friday about this.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. We are coming at these gatekeepers. And we will be, through legal means, destroying this gatekeeping. We are going to lead a fight in the crypto world against the gatekeeping that goes on that prevents the average person from being able to make the same kinds of money that they allow the hedge funds to do. And just wait until you see our real estate video we put together. We got a real estate video about the gatekeeping from Blackstone and BlackRock and the lengths that they have gone to, that the government has gone to protect these hedge funds. It will make you sick. It will make you want to physically vomit thinking about the government is for the institution. Why? Why are they not for the people? How many campaign contributions do you make? Do you go have a $100,000 a plate dinner? Well, guess who does? Blackstone and BlackRock. So they want to continue to gatekeeping, but we are coming at these people, and we will continue to come at them. We'll have much more on what we're going to be doing with that and how you can get involved and support us in this fight. We're going to be taking part in very soon. All right. Solana plummets double digits amid another network halt. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Solana, the POSI layer 1 blockchain showed 11%, currently trades at $39. Holy crap. Let's see. Long bearish action on Solana, wipes out tens of billions of dollars. I really have a problem with any article that, talks about the losses of one coin. They've all lost this much, pretty much.
They're all 60, 70, 80% down.
I'm more worried about Solana's future than their present.
Same.
Two primary reasons behind today's bearish action revolve around the blockchain outage that happened yesterday and plummeting demand for Solana-based NFTs. Certainly has nothing to do with the Bitcoin price dropping.
Right.
Certainly that's had nothing to do with why Solana dropped yesterday. It's because of the NFTs and the pause of the blockchain. Go check out the first time that their blockchain paused. See what happened to the price. Didn't go down. Why? Because the market was going up. Big brain, guys. Big brain, people. You got to have that big brain. The network faced its worst outage in January 2022, crashing the network every day for 7 consecutive days. Yeah. Cleared out all the bots, he said, after they fixed the last outage. The co-founder said, Anatoly Yakovenko. Cleared out the bots, guys. We were doing something positive with our time. Amid the outage, interest in Solana NFTs also plummeted. Why would you not? Per data from CryptoSlam, overall NFT sales on Solana dropped by 61%. Let's see. Man, I hope my mute name's staying up, though. I hope. So, a lot going on here with Solana. Very sad. And one of the reasons why we like Solana so much in the beginning was the tech, was what they were doing. But it certainly, is not looking great right now.
Well, I think it just goes to show how many different attack vectors there are. Basically, they're just getting overrun with bots. And so, with any project, you have to assume bad actors. You have to assume there's going to be people attacking your chain. And we're seeing more and more the resilience of Bitcoin and Ethereum to survive attacks is one of the most important parts. You have to have a strong chain that can stay resilient. Which is what we just saw with Terra. I mean, that they're different types of attacks, but somebody attacked that chain, and this was the result.
Well, a lot of this has to do with, I believe, like the low fees on Solana that make it worth it to attack. That was like what we saw in the beginning when they were launching NFTs, was they were getting attacked because anybody could just spam make NFTs. And so basically they were using that to generate so many NFTs that it crashed the network. Well, that Ethereum don't have to worry about that. Ethereum don't have to worry about low fees. So what you see is a lot of the reasons why Ethereum has high gas fees. I mean, that's actually, some would argue, kind of a strength that it has. It's a lot less vulnerable to attacks than Solana is. So I don't know, it said once again, this last pause was because they were cleaning out bots. So they're being attacked again. Guys, them being attacked is not an excuse for them pausing the blockchain. That's a problem. Remember what we told you with Terra Luna? What we told you with Terra Luna was, look, it didn't matter if the attack against Terra Luna was intentional or not. Doesn't matter ultimately. Like, does it matter because there's bad actors at play? Yes, in a sense, it does matter. But does it matter in a sense of, if there was a vulnerability, it was always going to be attacked. One way or another, it was always going to be attacked. With Solana, they continue to have these vulnerabilities. As long as they have them, it will always continue to be attacked. And I don't know what the solution is at this point. So we'll have to see what happens.
And that's what's concerning, is I don't know if they know what the solution is. Like, I know they're working on it, and I know they've got smart people working on it. But if you've got a fatal flaw like what we saw in Terra and what we might be seeing in Solana, like, you got to get it fixed, or it just gets worse and worse and worse.
We got Charles Hoskinson, of course, trolling Solana after another network call. What did old Charles say? Let's see. He suggested developers a video how to fix old video games. Solana's mainnet caused stormy reactions on social media, halting once again for a short period of time. Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, could not stay away, and in reaction to a tweet about Solana's shutdown, suggested to its developers a video about how to fix old video games. One user asked if he thinks excessive cockiness could play a cruel joke on him like it did on Do Kwon and Luna. Cardano founder said that nothing is completely safe, and he is certain that everyone has problems at times. The reason for his sarcastic taunts, he said, is that the Solana and Luna community have mercilessly mocked Cardano for trying to do things right and use expert judgment and formal methods to avoid such problems. Well, I mean, look, here's the truth. The truth is that we told you for years, we believe that Cardano is Ethereum's #1 competitor. We ultimately believe Ethereum wins out, but if there is one that can compete with Ethereum, it's Cardano. And then we've seen over the last year and a half, so many competitors rise up. So many. Terra Luna, Avalanche, Solana, Polkadot, Cosmos. Who's still there? Who's still right there at the top of CoinMarketCap? Look at that. There they are, right there. Cardano, still number 6, still holding on. Passed at one point by Solana, passed at one point by Terra Luna. Where are they at now? They're not there. We're seeing a lot of problems. Obviously, Terra Luna is destroyed. Thought it was a great competitor. Say one thing about Cardano. Certainly when it launched, some congestion issues. Definitely some congestion issues. I was not happy about that. I spoke out about it when it happened. But it didn't cause anything monumentally bad or catastrophic on the chain. And now it looks like congestion issues have been worked out. Things are flowing a lot better with the Cardano ecosystem. I still stand by what I've always said. I still believe Cardano is the only competitor to Ethereum that we have out there. It's the only one that could end up on the same tier with Ethereum. You have another tier down that's got, Cosmos, Polkadot, some of those projects. Maybe Avalanche. Avalanche has fallen down pretty far as well, down to number 14. But, I think you got to continue to look at Cardano and Ethereum as competitors. Nothing has shaken me from that. Department of Justice charges former OpenSea exec and insider trading scheme. We talked about this quite a bit on Around the Blockchain yesterday. We have Nathan Chastain. Basically, we've called him out so many times, called OpenSea out so many times for much of the smoke that's gone on around there with OpenSea. And as you guys know, we did announce we are completing an OpenSea competitor. This idea was launched the day that they took my blue check mark away. And I will go down fighting to destroy this company. I will do it in any way possible. And we are going to compete with them, and we are going to have the best NFT platform. You can listen, you can take this. We will have the best NFT platform on the market. We're not ready to announce the name, but the features that we have built into this, and we are paying high dollars for this. We are coming to play ball. This is not going to be a joke. You will be using our NFT platform in the future to buy NFTs because everyone will. It will be the one-stop shop. You will not need to go anywhere else. And we are very serious about making this the very best and not just doing what a lot of the teams have done in NFT space, where you make a lot of money and then you just forget about it and just let it run. No. We will be constantly monitoring. We're going to have something crazy. Customer service. Woo! We've already won. We've already defeated everyone. So all you have to have is customer service. You beat everybody in the NFT space. So we're not quite ready to announce the name yet. We have a name. We have socials. We have everything ready to go. We are looking at some beta stuff right now. We've been working on this. It's been in development now for about 2 months. And why? Because we cannot stand that OpenSea, just rot with scammers, allowed to flourish. The only reason why Nate Chastain, by the way, arrested by the FBI yesterday, Southern District of New York. I read the full indictment today. By the way, he signed something when he started working at OpenSea saying that he would not use insider knowledge. So he's dead rights on this, guys. Like, this is not, kind of like, intangible. He's got written documents signed by OpenSea saying that he would not use inside knowledge of what was happening there to profit. And he did. So he's in big trouble. But here is what he did. He was the lead of product. And what he would do is on multiple occasions, he had inside information of what NFTs were going to be listed on the homepage. Literally minutes before they were listed, he would go buy them. And then within an hour after, the price would increase 2 to 5x, and he would sell them. He made a total of $67,000, which I can tell you in crypto, it's not a lot of money to be going to prison over. I would tell you this. I do not believe he will be going to prison. They say he's facing up to 20 years. OpenSea better watch out. Because if there was ever a time that this guy is going to make a deal, and he's going to try to out every single thing he knows in the crypto world, there's a lot of people that better be watching their backs. Because I guarantee you this guy knows a lot of stuff about people that work at OpenSea. So, okay. Yeah. Oh, it's 12:30 right now?
Yeah, I just didn't know if you wanted
so quick.
Yes. Maybe
Did we figure out how I'm going to fix this?
I think not. I'm worried if we start trying to adjust stuff over there, you won't be able to hear her.
Oh, I still hear it in the headphones, though.
But you'll just take it off when you talk. I think is our only.
Well, but I still hear it.
Oh, I see.
It's here.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Let me see if I can.
I mean, you can play with the stuff over there. I'm just worried if you get it to
See,
where
I can't even mute it on my side. Like, if I hit mute, I still hear it. Let me try to maybe it's the settings. Hey, Eleanor, give me just a second. Okay. Let me see now.
I just
fix it. That did not
worry that you won't hear her.
Yeah, I understand that. Settings. Echo. Okay. Well, we have to fix this. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring on Eleanor. I'll try to hear myself, to not hear myself. So, Eleanor, how are you doing? Or
I'm
Ellie?
good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Yeah, you can call me Ellie.
Ellie.
People usually go by Ellie, so.
Eleanor is so official. So official.
Someone told me today that it sounds like an old lady name. So now I'm a little turned off from that name.
It's
I want to be called Ellie for the rest of my life.
Ellie's Gen Z. Ellie's Gen Z. It's
Very
definitely
Gen Z.
Yeah. So, well,
But I'm a
let's
millennial.
talk. Yeah, I am as well. Well, I'm kind of on the cusp of millennial and Generation X. So I'm an
Gotcha.
elder millennial. There we go. So, okay, so you work for Fox Business and you have been, covering this case. And so before we get into what's going on right now with the case, I want to know like a little bit about your background. How did you get into this? And were you like involved in crypto at all before you started covering the case?
So I was not really involved in crypto before I started covering the case. I got interested in crypto because of the SEC Rebel case. And why I got into it was because last September, I'd been working with Charlie Gasparino, my boss, for about 4 months at that point. And we had seen on Twitter, a lot of activity from the XRP community, and we were getting tagged in things. And we're like, all right, let's check this out. And I believe it was John Deaton who tweeted at Liz Clayman and Charlie saying, you guys have the opportunity to cover one of the most significant financial stories in history. Will you report? And Charlie came back and retweeted John and said, I will report. So from that day, I believe it was September 24th, 2021, we got into the case and we did the research. We dug deep. We talked to a lot of people involved in the case. And it was just so fascinating. It took us from September. I think we published the 10,000 word piece we did on the case in November 24th. It was the day before Thanksgiving. And it was a process, but I learned a lot. And just from there, learning about cryptos, learning about the technology behind it, really just piqued my interest. So that's really how I got into it.
Yeah, well, that's definitely good that you got into it because you've uncovered a lot of stuff. The thing I'm really interested in is I would like to know kind of like your perspective going into this and now where you're at now with it, if it's changed at all about the SEC in general.
Yeah, good question. So when we first started, our basis was that we're going to go into this as journalists with an open mind and be objective and not, take too many, things we see on Twitter or anywhere else, seriously until we've actually done the investigation. So that was always our mindset. And Charlie has always been a big proponent of saying that with this case specifically, and I've written it down because I always mess up what he says. But it's confluence doesn't equal causation. So, because there's an appearance of impropriety doesn't mean that there's corruption. But as we've dug deeper, as we did the expose, as we've watched the case unfold for the last few months, there are definitely conflicts of interest, and they're very, I would say, glaring. Especially I would say the games the SEC is playing. Lately, they seem to be trying to at least slow down the case to make it work in their favor with the 180, shall we say, on the Hinman emails and whether they should be attorney-client privilege, whether they were Hinman's opinion. I think there's some, games going on here, especially as we wind down the case. Not wind down the case, but come to a hopefully a conclusion soon. I hear it won't be resolved until next year, but I've definitely noticed some conflicts of interest that we've commented on it. I've tweeted a lot about it. Charlie's tweeted a lot about it. I'm in the middle of writing an article just to give an update on everything lately. The documents that Empower was able to receive through the FOIA requests. Those are very interesting. And again, I'm not saying that there's corruption here at all. I'm saying that maybe there was some oversight and people didn't do what they were supposed to do at the time, and it kind of slipped through the cracks. And now we're dealing with the lawsuit that we're dealing with. But it's been very interesting to cover and kind of see unfold.
Yeah, I definitely say that I'm on record as saying the SEC is the most corrupt organization in the world. What they have done and what we've uncovered with the bribes, the money that goes behind the scenes, like it is really sad that these are the people who are supposed to be protecting us. And I think if we put anybody at the SEC, maybe besides Hester Pierce, on trial, I think they would all go to prison. That's the way I feel about it. And it continues to just be more and more and more. And I think that as this case continues as well, that what they're seeing is there's going to be a lot more damage to them than it is going to be to Ripple. So where do we stand right now with the case? What are the latest things that people need to be watching out for? I know we've got the timeline that's been extended maybe to March of next year. So this thing just seems like it's never going to end.
Yeah, it is dragging on a little bit. I guess the latest news came out 2 days ago was that Judge Netburn, it's Judge Torres and Judge Netburn who are both presiding over the case, and NetBurn is calling for a conference next Tuesday in person between both parties to kind of hash out what the SEC is now saying. They started off saying that the Hinman speech and the emails that went into it, it was all his personal opinion, was nothing to do with the agency. The judge ruled, okay, well, if that's the case, then you will turn over these documents to Ripple and we can see what's in the emails. The second she did that, they came out and said, oh, actually, just kidding. We think it should be protected under attorney-client privilege now because, Hinman was acting as a client of our SEC attorneys when he asked for those, opinions to go into the speech. So that is happening on Tuesday, and I believe you can call in and actually listen to the proceedings and listen to the both parties kind of give their side. I spoke to lawyers, close to Ripple, and they seem to think that there could be, she might even come out with a verdict on, not a verdict for the case, obviously, but an opinion on whether those emails should be shown on Tuesday once she's heard from both parties. I think right now she probably knows what she wants to rule on, but she, wants to get clarification from the SEC, clarification from Ripple, and then she might make a decision then and there. She might not. We might still be waiting for, her to make a few more decisions. So I think that is definitely a big thing to watch. That'll be Tuesday afternoon, I believe, at 2. But that'll be interesting. The timeline itself, it's been pushed back, as you know. I think the judge Torres came out in the end of April, and she kind of said that she's going to move everything back. Motions to exclude the expert testimony, that's due at the end of August now, and then the summary judgments have to be briefed by November. So those are key dates. And something interesting that happened recently, as you know, is that John Deaton filed a request to not to give evidence because he's not allowed to and has amici status, but to kind of challenge what the SEC's expert witness said about the XRP holders and what their real expectations were when they bought XRP. This guy's name is Patrick Doody. He's been called by the SEC before. He was called in the Telegram case, I believe, and said the same kind of similar thing. Telegram was being accused of the same thing, selling unregistered securities. And he said that any reasonable buyers of the Telegram tokens could, at the time, should have expected profits from Telegram. Therefore, they were in the wrong. He's saying this about XRP holders as well. And John represents, over 67,000 XRP holders like me and you, who just, might have bought it because they thought it was interesting or they had hopes for it, or whatever the reason that they bought it is. They didn't know Ripple existed, and so they did not have reasonable expectations that Ripple was going to give them any kind of profit. So he's filed that. The SEC has filed a motion as well to push back on John. So that's also a thing to watch, and I think we'll be getting a resolution from that, hopefully from the judge or John in the next couple of days. So a lot of things to watch. It's a very interesting case, and I feel like there's some lulls sometimes, and it's like, oh, is this case ever going to end? It's like, what's next? And there's so much waiting time, but it's got some things coming down the pike soon.
Well, in crypto they talk about a paid shill a lot. It seems to me as Patrick Doody is a paid shill for the SEC.
When you say shill, just educate me on that. So what is a shill? Is that someone who
basically what it means is somebody who just comes out and talks about a certain project or a certain thing in an over the top way that they may not actually believe that in what they're saying. There's no way that Patrick Doody believes what he's saying because he hasn't spoken to any XRP holder, correct?
Right. Apparently he has not spoken to any XRP holders. And John, meanwhile, has spoken to plenty who have said the exact opposite of what Doody is saying. Like, these people had no idea Ripple existed when they bought XRP.
And doesn't he get paid for these appearances?
Who? Doody?
Patrick Doody.
I am not sure on that, but I do know that he works currently for a private consulting firm that was granted a government contract funded pretty much entirely by the SEC. It was a $4 million contract. It happened in, I believe it was 2018 they were granted. So, here again with the conflict of interest, right? It's like he is talking on behalf of the SEC and the SEC, is basically funding the company he works for. So I think, Ripple lawyers might capitalize on that if they want to push back and kind of expel that testimony from the court.
Yeah, well, I think we just continue to see these conflicts of interest, and every time someone comes into this case and makes themselves a public figure, such as Patrick Doody, the Ripple community is going to destroy them. It's going to pull every single thing from their background, every conflict of interest, every connection, every tie. And so people need to think twice before they come out,
Yeah.
for the SEC. Now, after this case is over, do you think we're going to see any changes to the SEC?
It depends the outcome, I really think. I know that, Brad Garlinghouse has said that for Ripple, if they win, then they're going to go IPO. And I believe that most likely Ripple will. It's a very successful business overseas already. I believe that it can be successful here too. We'll probably see, a big boom for them. If the SEC loses, I think we will see a change in the way that they're going after these crypto companies. I think there's going to be hopefully more disclosure from them. I think if they lose this lawsuit or they are forced to settle, then that's going to be a key factor in that. But you never know with the SEC, and I say it all the time. It's like you never know what they're going to come out with next. So
Yeah.
You would hope that there would be changes. If they win and Ripple loses, I think nothing's going to change, and possibly there will be more enforcement, more regulation by enforcement, which seems to be Gary Gensler's preferred method of ruling. So we will see. But I think everybody thinks that there needs to be changes at the SEC for sure. Just in terms of clarity too, because Jeremy Kauffman, who is the CEO of Library, I've talked to him on a few occasions. He tells me that every time he's tried to talk to the SEC, they basically just say, "Oh no, we can't give advice. We can't tell you if you're doing this or that wrong." So it's just like, just tell me, what am I doing wrong? How do I operate better? And tell me how I can follow the rules. So that hopefully will change.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about that a lot because what we've seen is the SEC and the CFTC really, they want to put the cart before the horse. That they want to go after everybody before they create the regulation that people are supposed to follow. And that doesn't make any sense. And that's going to continue in ambiguity. And I think that might be the big change that comes out of this. Because when the SEC loses, I believe they will lose pretty dramatically here. I think there will be a settlement because it's just so much in Ripple's favor to be able to take a settlement instead of going all the way to the end and seeing what ultimately the judge will decide. But I think even if we get all that, what the SEC is going to find is going to be impossible for them to win these cases when they don't have the regulation and the clarity. So hopefully that's what we'll see. Right now, it seems, though, that the SEC is the most, and Gary Gensler himself, the most self-unaware people that exist in the world. That's the way it sees. Everybody is looking this, and everybody who's been following this case knows where this is going. So we'll have to see what happens with it. Maybe we'll get big changes. But Ellie, thank you so much for coming on. And if you could, TJ, drop her Twitter in the chat and in the basement as well.
Will do.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. And I'd love to join again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. When there's some more developments, we'll definitely get you back.
There's some more news.
Okay. All right.
Sounds
See you,
good.
Ellie. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Such a great interview for so hard for me to talk. That was so difficult.
I know.
I had my headphones on every way I could get them on. I was like,
it brings me when we first started doing around the blockchain, and for like a month, I used to have to do it like that.
Oh my God. Like I find myself trailing off on my words.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's so distracting. It's much more distracting than you'd think it would be if you've never tried it at home. Hearing yourself back because
you hear yourself almost, it's a slight delay.
And it makes you trip over your words. It's very difficult.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I mean, that was really great. I mean, it was really cool to hear a perspective from someone who wasn't in the crypto world before she really started covering this case. And now that she's been covering it, look, I feel like it's like, as a journalist, like she can't come out and say, hey, it's corrupt.
Right.
She went right up to that line,
Yeah.
as close to that line without saying it as she could go. And that should be telling you something right there, people, for sure.
Yeah.
So, All right, guys, these lights have been so hot on me lately. I'm sweating. Okay, where were we? We got to finish up, but I did want to point out, I guess I finished talking about Nathan Chastain. He's going to sing like a canary. A lot of people should be nervous. There you go. We'll watch case, continue, see what happens. And I do want to point out the reason why all this happened with Nate Chastain and OpenSea is because Twitter users discovered his addresses and saw that he was doing this. He tried to keep it all anonymous and hide it. Twitter is who found it. And then he resigned from OpenSea. OpenSea didn't discover this themselves and fire him. And it would be very, very interesting to see whether other people at OpenSea knew that he was doing this and they were doing it as well. Because I would have to think that if he was doing it, there were certainly other people that were probably doing it, and at least certainly other people that knew about it. We'll have to see what happens there. That's all conjecture at this point. I believe that to be true because I think that's what you see in most cases. But we'll have to see what happens and how this all goes down. I just don't think, I think this case is the beginning of the unraveling of something much larger. So once resistant Kanye files NFT trademark applications. There you go. So of course he said, you know, he would not be doing NFTs right here in this note. But notice we even pointed out back then, like he didn't say that he wasn't going to be doing them. He said, don't ask me to do them. So, you know, that's kind of playing out at this point.
Yeah, I felt like even when he made that statement, he was basically saying, I'll do them when I'm ready. Get out of my face, telling me what to do. So I think that's kind of what it was always inevitable that this was coming.
Yeah. Goblin NFTs feast on feces and urine, and they fetch 16K. Well, sounds like a pretty good fetch. I said on Twitter, this is a great point for a lot of people to, for somebody to come up with a Nilbog NFT. Former developer advocate at Ripple explains why XRP has stayed in the top 10. Matt Hamilton, Hammertoe as they know him, director of developer relations at BitSensor, used to work for Ripple. Explain why digital asset XRP has been able to stay among the top 10. He said that the reason it's staying in the top 10 is because it works. It does what it says on the 10. XRP Ledger is still the best blockchain for payments and transferring value around. Decentralized, secure, fast, cheap, scalable, well-tested, to the test of time. Absolutely, you will see several people talking about they believe that Ripple or XRP itself is centralized. Well, there is no argument for the XRP ledger being centralized. It doesn't exist. It is fully decentralized. We will be launching some NFTs on there as soon as their changes go live. They're making on the blockchain. So are we in quick hits now? Yeah.
Yes.
Apple's upcoming developer conference sparks rumors of NFT trading cards. Facebook second in command Sheryl Sandberg to quit after 14 years. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Polygon takes considerable security measures. Andy Warhol work will be sold in 961 NFT fragments. We've actually been looking into some fine art NFTs, some interesting stuff to watch. Chipotle adding crypto payments. Optimism fall 40% after they finally launched a token. Father-son duo sentenced for laundering cash with Bitcoin in weed scheme. Oh, man, you lost me at weed scheme. All right, we got a couple questions.
Not a ton right now. Obviously, there's some questions about Solana, which we kind of touched on at the beginning. If we're going to be selling, potentially, we're discussing it. You know,
I mean, it sucks to sell at such a loss, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we're right now. Here's a question: any thoughts on AMP? It's at 1 cent.
I mean, sounds like a pretty good place to buy, but probably gonna go lower.
Yeah.
I think I do believe in AMP long term. That one, and this is real, it's legitimate. We had a miscommunication on our portfolio trimming.
Yeah.
I said to keep AMP. Somehow it got sold. So, you know, it was just a mistake that happened. I don't know where the miscommunication came in. AMP is one that while we're not holding our portfolio right now, I do believe in for the long term. And I do believe it is going to come back, and I do believe it is going to be, you know, a serious player in the next bull run. I think that this is something that, you know, I would not bail on. It's one I would not be afraid to accumulate when I feel like accumulation points are in. Right now, that's not that place. Only XRP and Ethereum I would be looking at accumulating right now.
Where do you see VeChain in 2 to 3 years?
Well, they moved offices, right? They got a new office somewhere in Europe, I think, if I remember correctly. I think VeChain is the number one supply tracking coin. We've got some conflicts of interest with them and just being an American and what's going on in China right now. If they do move to a more, you know, international feel, and it doesn't feel like a Chinese company, then, you know, we might be more apt to buy back into it. But once again, it's not in our portfolio. For more of a philosophical reason, which I don't like to get philosophical with my investments. But on that one alone, when we are looking to trim our portfolio, that can be a deciding factor between two coins. It might not be the only reason, but when we were looking to trim our portfolio, that was one that, you know, once again, still believe in VeChain for the long term. Still think it's going to be great. 2 to 3 years, still going to be around. I think it's a good investment, but we bailed out on that one.
2 questions back to back on the basement. When to accumulate sand, and is it okay to accumulate sand now? So
I don't think so. No, somebody said I got paid by AMP. I've never spoken to anyone at AMP. That's 100% incorrect. No one's ever paid me an AMP. Never did a sponsor video for AMP. Never spoken to anyone from AMP. Just so we're clear on that. And of course, you guys know we do 0 sponsor content. We haven't done any since January. Won't ever be doing any again on this channel. We're okay with other people doing sponsor content. We support people making money and monetizing their channels as long as they disclose. But for our channel, we're too big. We feel like to ever, have any bias, and we want to give people all the information to know it's 100% what I think, and never being led by anybody else. So when it comes to sand, I do not believe right now is a good time to accumulate sand, and let me tell you why. It got listed on Coinbase, I believe.
Yeah,
we didn't even cover that when it happened. But I don't believe sand is good to accumulate right now. Here's why. I do not believe that Sandbox, they said the alpha is out. I don't know what they call like the official season one, where everything is playable. That keeps getting pushed back further and further. It's looking like possibly middle of next year for that. So I think you are very comfortable right now waiting for Bitcoin to bottom before you start accumulating, sand. But it is one I would accumulate for sure. It is on my top, 6, 7 coins for the next cycle for sure. Continue to watch that one. But right now, I don't believe is the optimal time.
Yeah, and we had another question about Blocktopia and Everdome when it comes to metaverse projects. We do like those projects.
I have land in both.
Only thing we would mention is kind of the same thing Ben was alluding to. With a lot of these metaverse projects, they're very long term, and it's going to take a very long time before this stuff is playable. Sandbox, for example, has been building for years. Everdome and Blocktopia are much newer in the process, so we are interested in them. We do hold stakes in them, but these are very long term and very speculative.
And I would say, Sandbox, the simplest game out there with its voxels.
Yeah.
The easiest to build on, and it still is taking this long. Think about how long these more complex projects are going to take.
Yeah. Multiple cycles. And
well, there we go, guys. Because that's all we got. Thank you guys so much for watching the show today. Appreciate all the viewers. As always, we'll be back on Around the Blockchain later today. That's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.